this is Jenny from Art with Jenny, and I am here to remind you to create joy in your life today. Today I'm making a video for you of experimenting with different types of strings and things. Let's do it! I'm going to start with some cardstock. Cardstock is fairly smooth, but absorbent as well, so we'll see how this does. And I'm going to start with some cotton thread. And I don't mind getting my hands dirty, so I'll just get my hands in here if I need to. Oh, it looks like I don't really need to with the thread because it's so thin it goes right in. It's so thin it goes right in. Right? And right now I'm using, this is liquid watercolor. And I'm just going to put it in a curvy design and close the cover. I'm just using a sketchbook, but you could just put a book on top of it and pull. Voila! Lovely. So I'm going to try the same thing but with polyester thread, because I was curious if, like with dyeing clothes, if you are using natural materials, it usually works better because it absorbs into the fabric better. So I was just curious about that with the polyester thread. I'm making a mess here, but it's okay because this is an experiment. Let go. Doesn't look much different. Just a big splotch from where I made a little puddle. And now I'm going to try a piece of cotton string. If you don't like getting your hands dirty, you could always use a brush to brush this on, but for me, part of the joy of art making is the sensory aspect, and I don't mind getting dirty. Although I do have a rag here to wipe my hands off. Interesting. You can see with the thicker string, there's a lot more color texture coming out there. And now I have a piece of cotton yarn. And I am just using black for all these, just so that we can see the same color and how the size and the material is affecting it. I'll do this one here a little. Woo! Interesting! I really like the texture that one made. Okay, now I'd like to show you what happens if we use watercolor paper that has some texture. And this is 140-pound paper. Let's see what happens. This time I'll use purple. I'll probably mix with the black a little bit. The texture of the paper is causing this to not show as much. Let's do a loop-de-loop this time. And this paper is more absorbent, so you can see where there's a different look to the liquid watercolors. Using it on the watercolor paper, it's spreading out more than it did here, that has a cleaner look on the smoother paper. Now I'm going to try a piece of Bristol board. Bristol board is smooth and generally used for kind of ink work, so it'll be interesting to see how it works on here. I'll start with the thread, the cotton thread. This time I'm not even gonna let go. Oh, I'm gonna leave that loop in there since it wants to be there. Interesting. Let's try the string. I'm not wiping it off this time either. I'm just leaving this whole amount in. Whoop! Let's turn it around this way since it's too big. Voila! Nice. Just wrap this down. See what the yarn does. Cotton yarn. Remember to put it on the side closest to the spine since this is smaller than the paper. Okay, guess that was too much. Just out of curiosity, I'm going to try that again. Whoa. See that some of the black coming out there as well. Very interesting. Depending on the pressure that you use, how absorbent the paper is, the string versus the yarn or versus the thread. Interesting. I'd like to try some acrylic paint. If you're doing this with children, I would suggest you use poster paint or tempera while you're experimenting because acrylic is more permanent. If it gets on clothes and dries, it's going to be there. In fact, I used to purposely paint on my pants with acrylics in college to decorate my pants. All right, so let's see what happens with the smooth Bristol board. Some acrylic. Nice. Certainly the smoother the paper, the sharper the color is coming. I'm going to try it with the yarn this time. That was this cotton string. I like to get messy. Okay. Some pretty edges there. Interesting. Okay. I want to try something different. I think what I'd like to try now is to actually paint on some yellow. Maybe I'll paint it in this direction. Actually, I'm going to add a little water too, just to thin out this acrylic. I'll just dump it right on here, because I can. So it'll stay wet a little bit longer. Acrylic dries pretty fast, because I'm curious to see what will happen. I think I liked the look of the string. It's a little bit thinner and gives the sharper edges, so just out of curiosity, I'm gonna cover this string with blue and put it on the wet paint and see what happens. Voila! Nice, now I've got a little bit of mixing, so there's some green in there as well. I've been taking apart my external hard drive to destroy, so I wanted to see what would happen if I put this wire through. Why not? Give myself a little bit more space here. And I think I'll use red this time. Not sure how this will work because this is plastic, so it's not absorbent. It's just sitting on the surface, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Antennae! Just gonna lay that down. A mess! That just made a mess. But it had a nice curved line there. I have to experiment with that some more. I'm not worried about this paper being clean and pristine because I'm just experimenting. I also have this iridescent medium that you can add to, first you have to get the cover off, that you can add to acrylics to give it a little spherical. I'm just gonna try this out. Why not? Okay. And then I have this piece of copper wire. I wonder what this will do, if anything. Again, I think I will have to cover it with acrylic this time because it's wire. There's nothing to, it's not going to absorb paint. That just made a mess. Let's see. What if I just pull it through without closing it? Just curious. I think it's too, yeah. It won't stay flat enough because it's stiff. So that's not very workable. Unless I tried some other ways. I do want to try one other item. More of this, because it's thick. Whoop, that was enough. I'm curious to see what will happen if I pull this chain through. Use my fingers. I'm just gonna pull this and see what happens. Sweet. Now that I really like a lot. Especially with the iridescent medium in there. Interesting. Quite a lot going on over here. Interesting. So here we have pulling wet paint through wet paint. That's acrylics. And we have some of the watercolors here on the Bristol board, which is a smoother paper. I would think, I don't have any to try, but if you used a glossy paper, it probably would be even sharper. Here's the watercolor paper. Nice image. And here's the cardstock. Interesting difference here, more just the outline. Here you've got a more depth of color. Here you have more texture. And this is something I was just playing with the other day. I actually used dental floss as well, which absorbed, I used woven floss, so it absorbed a lot of paint. And there's some string, a thread there and some string. Right. I'd love to know if you decide to try this, what you think of it, and if you've tried any other materials and how it worked for you. I'm not trying to make any specific type of artwork or finished product here. I'm just having fun experimenting. And I hope you do as well. Until next time, see ya!